Okay, so in this video I want to talk about the quality of your toolpath, right? So let's go to let's turn off the flow line, let's turn off the roughing, and let's just look at the advanced C-level finish. Okay, so when we get into this feature and we go to parameters, this tolerance here is controlling the accuracy of the cut. So if we loosen this number up and we recompute the toolpath, okay, this is where it's going to show what we want to show is the distance between the points in the toolpath, right? So we're going to go into simulation. Okay, we're going to turn the stock off. All right, and this shows us our toolpath. Okay, what we want to do is we want to look at some of our toolpath settings. So this one here, toolpath points. All right, so we turn that on. Let me show that again. Over here, toolpath points. Okay, and when you look at this, you can see as we adjust that other number, this is all the points that make up our path in our toolpath. Okay, so we're looking for consistency. If you see inconsistency in your surface or surface blemishes, or you're just not getting a high quality finish based off the part, one of the things that can cause that is the tolerance of your toolpath. And the tolerance of your toolpath really has to do with all these point locations. Okay, so you can see we loosened up the tolerance, and we're looking at the spacing between the points and the consistency of the points. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that. Let's get back into here. Let's come back to parameters. Now let's bring this back to the default number and recompute. So what we've done is we've improved the quality of the toolpath, or the tolerance of the surface being applied, right? And when we run this through simulation again, we're going to see a difference in our toolpath, right? So now we see a lot more points, and again, that's because we increased the tolerance. But just because we see more points doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get a better finish. And if you look at some of these different areas here, you can see how the consistency of these points vary. Even though it's a consistent surface, we can see the consistency of the points. There's closer sections and further apart sections, and that's going to show up on your surface depending on the material you're cutting and the tolerance that you're trying to hold. That may or may not impact a go or no go. All right, so when we talk about the mill premium toolpaths, one of the areas we're talking about is the tolerance and the accuracy of the toolpath. Okay, so when we come in here, we're going to have a tolerance here. So if we loosen up this tolerance, okay, so we loosen it up, and let's make this bigger as well. Okay, so we loosen up the tolerance, we generate more toolpath. Okay, let's go ahead and run a simulation here. Alright, we're looking at the points. Okay, so even in a looser tolerance, let me try to get to a better view here to see them. This view is a little bit different. But what we start to see is much more consistency in the point distribution right off the bat. Okay, we do see pretty much a consistent gap between each of them, but you can see some patterning happening based off the extension here. But overall, we're seeing a much more consistent result in points. And again, that's going to impact our toolpath. Okay, or the points of our toolpath is going to impact the finish of the material that we're cutting. Okay, so we're going to come back in here. We're going to go to parameters. All right, we're going to bring this number back up as in making it smaller. We're going to recompute here. Okay, we're going to run simulation again. Take another look. Okay, so you can see by increasing that number, the distance between them actually have gotten smaller. Okay, but as we look across the model, we may see some areas where the distribution ends up maybe being slightly denser or less dense. Okay, you can kind of see it through the pattern of points there. Okay, you can definitely kind of see it through this section here. All right, so we may want to use some of the surface-based strategies and their settings in order to improve that quality. Okay, so we'll come in here to parameters. We're going to go to advance. Okay, and now we can use this deviation min-max, these factors here to adjust down or adjust up. And again, giving you control you don't have with the Mill Professional strategies. With the Mill Professional, you can adjust the machining tolerance, but in this case, not only are in the surface-based strategies, we're also adjusting the machine tolerance or the surface tolerance, but then we're also adjusting the distribution. And that level of control really allows you to loosen up where need be, or tighten up your point density in order to really improve the quality of your strategy or quality of your surface finish. Now, I do see some additional points that are added in there, and again, based on that tolerance, we can adjust it, but you can also see other areas where they were looser. Now we see much more consistency. You can still see it tighter in some of the areas. Some of this is just the math, but in general, we can use this tolerance here, adjusting those numbers up or down in order to improve the quality of our surface, a level of control you just don't have with the Mill Professional software.